Look! In the sky! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's a dud. I'm actually rooting for DC here. I believe in DC. I want them to be good. But they make it so hard. Last year we got the reinvention of the DCU with James Gunn's Superman. And you know what? It was a hit. Everyone liked it, it made money, and I liked it. I didn't love it, but it didn't need to be loved. It just had to be straight down the middle liked, and damn it, it did that. Supergirl had a cameo in last year's Superman. She's a character that hasn't been explored as much as the Man of Steel, and DC is striking while the iron is hot. Or in this case, with this movie, the iron is lukewarm. Very, very lukewarm. So lukewarm, it's practically cold. How did DC fuck this up? Milly Alcock is Kara Zor-El, aka Supergirl. When the movie starts, she's on a birthday bender. Unlike her cousin Kal-El, she has no people and no home. Thus, she's drinking away the pain, until she meets Ruthie, a young girl whose family was killed by Krim of the Yellow Sun. She's out for revenge. Kara reluctantly agrees to help after the Brigands, a fierce gang of male warriors, poisons her dog, Krypto. Now shit is personal. Can Kara help Ruthie, save Krypto, and come to terms with her own place in the universe? What's so frustrating about this movie is DC had a golden opportunity to introduce a bunch of us to Supergirl. I grew up with Superman, I know him, but I've never indulged in any of the other Supergirl movies and TV shows. And you know what? This spin on the character, a sort of blasé, punk rock, I don't give a damn version of the superhero, actually has legs. And let's get this out of the way. This movie is not Milly Alcock's fault. She equips herself very well as the Girl of Steel? I don't know her nicknames. It's your classic reluctant hero. She's too cool to help anyone but herself. And she naturally sees herself in this girl, Ruthie. Alcock can play sarcastic, she can play brash, and she can kick butt. But she has done no favors by this script, and by the tone that director Craig Gillespie is trying to get off the ground here. Because the first 30 minutes is a strange mix of jokes that don't work, really rushed setup and exposition, and a performance by Alcock that's still trying to get its footing. Sometimes it's almost like they chose the wrong takes for her performance, as if you know the best bits of this part are somewhere on the cutting room floor. Thankfully though, when it's time to shine, she steps up. What doesn't step up is the writing, because it's not just formulaic. We're used to formulaic superhero movies. It's your classic example of just not enough depth, not enough motivation, not enough reason for us to care. And it's hard to care when the Ruthie character is so one-dimensional, and her mortal foe, Krim, played by Matthias Schoenaerts, isn't really given a lot of backstory besides he wants a lot of brides for his horde. Schoenaerts is an actor I've loved since 2012's Bullhead. With his broad frame and his ability to sink into any character, I was always waiting the day when he would be plucked for one of these comic book movies as a big bad or even as a hero. So it's so dispiriting that he's finally cast in what's pretty much a tossed off villain. He has fun with the part, but there's only so much fun he can have when this villain never really comes off as a true threat. Which means the writing is used to depower Supergirl multiple times in order to make him a bigger bad. In this movie, she is knocked out, she is poisoned, she is drained by the wrong color sun, and she is hit by kryptonite arrows. At every turn, this female character's strength and vigor is undercut by the plot. I guess to raise the stakes, I guess to make her a little more dimensional than her totally invulnerable cousin. Maybe write the villain better. Maybe give Jason Momoa's character more to do with the plot than just popping in and out as a chaos agent that makes no difference whatsoever. And maybe, just maybe, be a little more visually interesting. Director Craig Gillespie is not known for his visuals or his action filmmaking or really anything memorable. He's largely a journeyman director, so it's kind of baffling that he was given the keys to this character. The action is way over-edited, and besides a few cool CGI wonders, it never gives us any suspense or tension. But even when it comes alive, when it has a little bit of juice, like towards the end, when Kara is kicking ass in slow-mo, that is undercut by maybe one of the worst needle drops I've ever heard in recent memory. And in an era where there is now zero margin of error for superhero films, it makes me wonder even more why DC dropped the ball on this one. They knew it was their second film. They knew it was a character that's less well known than Superman. They knew a lot is riding on revamping the cinematic universe. So why didn't they lock in a better script? Why didn't they hire a better director? Hell, for that reason, why didn't they hire a female director? It's not about woke. It's about adding a perspective that these movies don't have. Maybe, just putting it out there, maybe a woman might have a little more insight into a female character. Maybe by this point, with the dozens and dozens of comic book superhero movies we've gotten, we could give just a few more to women. You know, just to see what they can do. At the very least, a woman might have understood the tonal balance that the Supergirl character and Alcock the actress have to toe here. But when most of the action is filmed in silhouette and lens flares, and most of the planets are uninspired deserts, a grass desert, a volcanic rock desert, a desert, and there isn't an emphasis on back to basics and, dare I say it, artistic filmmaking here when there is a chance, then what do you expect to happen? This is the same trap that the Marvel movies fell into. And it's the biggest sign that the best parts of this movie are not just the cameos by David Corenswet as Superman, he's just so good, we really lucked out getting him, and flashbacks to Kara's time on Krypton, where we get to meet her warm father played by David Krumholtz, where we get to see the Kryptonians speak in their native language, and we get to see Kara have to say goodbye to her home. This movie isn't an all-time disaster, it's just another in a long line of superhero movies that are mid. I'm still looking forward to what the DCU has in store for us, and I'm looking forward to seeing Milly Alcock's Supergirl again. I just hope that DC and WB don't freak out like they did last time and punch themselves in the dick for the next one. Supergirl is a big dud after the success of James Gunn's Superman last year. Milly Alcock does her heroic best, but she can't outfly a shallow script, incoherent action, and seriously, one of the worst needle drops I've ever heard. I give Supergirl a regrettable 2 out of 5 stars. If you like this review, please like and subscribe or follow me on Letterboxd at RamirezS316. This movie made my hair curl sad. I mean, look at him. He's so heartbroken.